Hello everyone and welcome to another video on Code Tech and Tutorials. My name is Matt and you're watching a year in review. Oh no, green screen. This is a recent happening. Let's check out the other stuff. Wait, it's like anytime I just change the lighting a little bit, it just my cam is locked. Why is it doing this? Ugh. YouTube being a YouTuber is fun. There's no stress involved. Well, I think the main thing to look at is just the growth over this year has been phenomenal. It has been something spectacular. Just the videos viewed along with subscribers gained, they tend to go hand in hand, so the graphs look about the same. But you can see from January 20th, we were starting to ramp up a tiny bit since last year, but I didn't even have 1,000 subs at this point. So like going from like January 20, well, it's January 2019, I was getting around 1,000 views a month to January 2020, starting out at about 9,000 views a month, which is super good. And then it ramped up, somehow amazingly hit up to almost 30K and did a little dip there and started going back up. And I got big plans for this year. So overall, yeah, the channel is definitely trending up and that's really good. Camera. You gotta stop, camera. This is gonna drive me crazy. Okay, it's, this gets me every time, I swear. The white balance. This keeps coming checked and unchecked. Just stay the same. I'm gonna use the same lighting. You don't have to keep switching white balance. Focus and exposure. Just stay the same. I thought I had these and low light compensation. Just don't change. If I move my hand, you don't have to change everything. Camera, jeez. All right, there we go. Much better. No, it's not much better. It actually looks not that great right now. I gotta fix this. Okay, so I switched my view here on my YouTube studio stuff to 365 days. And being as the first day of the new year, it should give us a pretty good recap of last year. My biggest video last year was Blender 2.9 Video Editing Basics Guide. Cool, thanks. Second biggest video was CMake Tutorial Episode 1. And then my next biggest video was Blender Video Editing Transformations, Rotations, Keyframes, Fades, Images. And then episode 2 of CMake Tutorial. So it was definitely this Blender and CMake Tutorial that probably carried the channel quite a bit, but I did have a lot of random one-off videos. How to create your own dynamic link library seemed to do well. This video, I don't get it. I don't get it why people still watch this. It's from January 2019, how to set up includes linkers libraries on Visual Studio. Sure, I was kind of a noob back then and I was doing some things wrong, but like, uh, wait, let's just take a peek at this video real quick and just look at this like ratio. 60 likes, 69 dislikes. People do not like this video. Now, I don't know why. I haven't really like watched this video and tried to figure out why exactly, other than it's kind of bad quality and there's much better ways to do libraries. So I did put first thing here, an updated version is available because I did make a new one. And I also said just use VC Package Manager, it's easier, and a link to that. But still, to this day, people are still watching this extremely disliked video and still asking me how to do libraries. Oh, I guess the audio is way out of sync with the video. I didn't realize that. Although I addressed it already, I must have forgot. So I don't know. People still keep watching it and asking me questions about it, and just don't watch these other videos instead. It's I don't know. I don't want to take this video down just because it seems to actually it does seem to still help some people, but it is my most disliked video by far. And it just keeps getting views. It just keeps getting recommended, and I don't know why they keep recommending it if people don't like it. But apparently, it's made me 17 bucks over the year, so cool. So yeah, I guess that's another thing I should talk about that is kind of a big deal. The channel did get monetized, and how much have I made? I'm sure a lot of you are kind of wondering. Well, I've made about $500 in total, and that was just from last year. Now that's not enough for like 1 month of rent or anything like that, but I mean maybe if you live in a really cheap place, but it's better than nothing, and it's really awesome to get monetized. That was a huge deal. I definitely celebrated. If I just look at like, let me just look at revenue. because I want to be clear. I want to be open with you guys about all this stuff. I tend to make about $3 a day right now on ads, and that's with like 200 videos. So that's like really actually not that much. Not as much as it seems like, but it has gotten to the point with like $3 to $4 a day being, it's about 100 a month at this point, which is not enough to survive on or anything, but I intend to make a lot of new videos this coming year, and not just for the revenue. It's mostly because I enjoy the interaction. To be perfectly honest, yeah, I don't think I'm ever really going to live off this. I guess I might have some luck and be able to, but I don't expect to. It would be the dream to just be able to do this channel. Support on Patreon if you want to support my dream, because that's going to make it happen a lot faster. I do have a goal over there. Once I hit some certain monthly amount, I will basically cease all my other technical jobs and focus strictly on the channel and my own projects, mostly relating to the channel. So support on Patreon, link down below if you want to help with this journey in the new year. But I do plan on posting 2 videos a week this entire year. So there's going to be 104 new videos this year, this being the very first one. So thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see all my future videos. I'm trying to take a little more time with them, make them a little better, but I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, so I don't know. It's just you being doing YouTube is weird is what I'm trying to say. It's I don't know how to explain it other than it's just like you can't win. It just feels like you can't win sometimes, because if you do everything perfect, people are going to hate you for doing it well. If you do everything terribly, people are going to hate you and love you for doing it terribly. There's really no winning. You just have to keep going. So anyone else that's like watching and thinking maybe I should start a channel, yeah, just do it and just keep going. You're going to get like a lot of negative feedback and a lot of positive feedback. And it's really important to mostly ignore the negative feedback other than to address whatever it says critically to, like, I don't know. Yeah, definitely use it to try to improve, but you got to weed out the ones that are just being jerks because they're having a bad day or something. You just can't listen to those people. There are a lot of good people out there, and I've met a lot of you, and you're great. So I just want to say really thank you to all the people who watch. And if you're not subbed, please do. It's a pretty high percentage of unsubbed people that watch, which I don't really bring up, but I guess in the first video of the year I will bring it up. All right, let's talk about more about revenue. I'm guessing you guys have questions. Let's just review top earning videos in the last 365 days. This Blender one, of course, the ones you saw at the top. Oh, the land the job, the Joshua Fluke mindset flaw is still getting views. That video is really old at this point. I'm surprised it still gets views, but I don't know. Some people like seem to like it. So yeah, here we go. Let's see. So yeah, I guess I make it didn't start out, well, I guess you can see it all right here. Starting in July. Well, let's just see more. This is all of it. So I got monetized in May, and that's when I hit about 1,000 subs. You got to hit 1,000 subs to potentially get monetized. YouTube reviews your channel. They reviewed my channel. They said, "All right, you're fine. Let's go ahead and monetize you." And I said, "Thanks," or whatever. And I started making about $50 a month just from my pre-existing videos, which were in the hundreds or 100. I don't know. It was a lot. And then it just kind of starts steadily ramping up as long as I continue to make content. Now, I have noticed that if I don't make content, this number starts dropping off. So, um, yeah, I really like doing this. I really want to keep doing it. And I want this to just keep kind of growing a little bit and hopefully bring new opportunities for me and my family where, being in this pandemic era we're in, it's great to be able to stay at home most of the time and work, which is what I tend to do. But hopefully it can get to a point where this channel is the main thing, and it's pretty close to that right now. I guess closer than a lot of my other projects anyway. So I'm pretty happy with that. But let's talk about more than just revenue. Let's look at some more random things. And I guess another kind of random thing is I didn't produce any videos for like 3 months, and then I just started making them again. Is that accurate? Was there really that big of a gap? I don't exactly recall. What was I doing in this period? I don't know. and I just started making videos again at some point. I was just like, yeah, I'm back on the bus. I honestly don't remember exactly. Let's look at all time, lifetime. I'm just curious here. What happened? No, it just doesn't show the old ones or something. I'm not sure, but I was definitely like posting videos some back here, so there should be something. I don't know. Maybe this is a little bugged or something. But yeah, there we go. Most of my viewers are on at noon. Interesting. And there's all kinds of stats here that are kind of cool to look at that maybe you guys might like to see. Yeah, here we go. This one, I always, when I'm watching other YouTubers and stuff, when they show these numbers, theirs are way better than mine and they're complaining. But watch time from subscribers, 95.8. So basically 96% of people are not subscribed that watch my channel and only 4% are. And I see people with like 20% subscribed complaining. I don't know. Should I complain about this? Yeah, definitely subscribe. I get a ton more subscribers than I expect already, so I'm not trying to be greedy here. Um, but yeah, please do subscribe. It does mean a lot. But I'm not gonna harass you anymore. You see the numbers. I see the numbers. If other YouTubers are complaining when it's not even close to that bad, maybe I should too. No, I don't like listening to other YouTubers or people in general. I'm kidding. I like listening to some people. Just all right. I guess it goes into the whole negativity thing. Like, all right, serious conversation, and this is a rant off the top of my head. So if it comes out bad, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do my best to explain here. Negativity is tricky. It is really easy to get in a negative loop. And being that we're going into a new year, I think it's really important that we kind of like reset and get out of our old ruts that we were stuck in. That's how I like to address New Year's anyway, is I try to sort of reset some things. And I am doing that with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff you don't see on this channel, like a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now. I am changing in a pretty big way, but you guys won't really see that here. It's going to make it easier for me to be more consistent. So the big things they're doing is I'm making a pretty well permanent schedule for myself, and I have a bunch of other like little side projects that are not related to this channel much. So I'm not going to like mention them specifically in link or anything. It's not about that. But I have a lot of other stuff going on, and I'm trying to make time for that too because it is important and it is relevant. And it's like family stuff and my own personal projects and my own personal business um, here locally where I do a lot of computer stuff and try to get contracts and stuff like that. But also trying to make a game this year, and I've got a really great design in my head that I love, but I don't want to share it yet because it's a bit early to be sharing that. I don't know if I'm going to do it on the channel or if I'm going to do it on my personal channel. But the point of all this is, I guess you just gotta let the negative people get drowned out. I get a decent amount of comments, 3 or 4 a day at least, usually. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. And I want to say like 90% of them are fine. Like there's probably 50% that are like a thanks and and stuff like that. And I really appreciate those. Sorry if I don't reply or heart all of them. I try to, but sometimes I miss them. But I do really appreciate that you guys appreciate that I'm, spending my time doing this. And there's also a good chunk of them that are just technical questions. And now I want to address this. This is important. Let me go to my comments. I guess I'm upside down. That's fine. I'm upside down. All right. So let's just look at some random comments here. I don't know if upside. Let's do this one. Here we go. All right. So let me just use these as a example. I'll start out here and just go through some. I don't know where to start. Okay, a lot of people commenting on the CMake tutorials as they do get the most views, some of the most views, so that's kind of natural. A lot of people kind of like making, yeah, this episode 2 in general, honestly, I whiffed it. I wish I redid it before I posted it because like I blundered that sucker so bad, but people seem to get it, and it does seem to still help people. So I was trying to like make it in a way where you could like learn from the mistakes I was making in the video, and because I like fixed them later in the video and stuff. And there were just little stuff like making sure I had the variable names right. So it wasn't anything huge, but it did confuse some people. And I get a lot of questions saying, or a lot of comments saying, "Oh, here's how you fix the stuff." And yeah, I know now. Sometimes you just got to get your videos done. You can't spend all month on them, all week on them. You just gotta get what you just gotta release what you got sometimes, and that's kind of how that was at that time. So sorry if it is confusing. I hope it was a good learning experience. It seemed to be. So thank you for all the comments and all that. I hope it, it's good. Even if you're leaving these comments for me and I don't really address them, there's probably other people watching the video that find them helpful. So thank you still. That does mean a lot. Thanks, Carlos. Here's like another one. All right, I am going to make an example out of these and talk about all these. Um, that's the point here. I'm not really interested in Ogre next as I'm starting with graphics, but more 1.12 would be great. Trying to figure it all out myself. Thanks. Okay, that's on the Ogre 3D rendering, which seemed to get quite a few views and attention. People do seem to appreciate that. I don't know if I'm going to go further with Ogre. I might. I guess we'll figure it out later. There seems to be more demand for other things, and I've sort of moved past it for now. But I might come back to it if there's anything big. All right, and on this old linker library video, the one I was talking about earlier that gets like mostly downvotes, can you please tell me how to add libraries in VS Code 2020? This wouldn't be a bad video to make. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. I don't use VS Code a ton, but I did figure this out on my own, and it is way more complicated than it needs to be honest. So I might make a video on that point, on that, yeah, about this comment about how to use VS Code, not Visual Studio Community Edition, but it actually VS Code. Now, one thing you can do is you can use VC Package Manager, and when you set it up to link it on your computer or do the integrate install part, it gives you a CMake command. So you can use that CMake command to point to all your libraries. So, and then if you're using Visual Studio Code, that's fine. It works with CMake. So by integrating CMake, you can pretty easily get access to your libraries. And let me know if you want a video on that. I could do a video on that. That might be a good one to do. It is a little bit confusing, to be honest. It took me like way too long to figure that out one day because you couldn't just, there was more to it than I just said, basically. While there shouldn't be, there just was, because that's how this coding stuff works, apparently. All right, here's another one from my avoid coding burnout advice from C++. Isn't this more of how to be a better programmer than avoiding burnout? I guess it would be both. Because, yeah, if you're avoiding burnout, you're definitely going to be a better programmer because you're keeping on it. So this is more about keeping on it and not stopping. So, yeah, yeah, if you follow his advice, you will be a better programmer and you'll probably also avoid burnout. So I don't know if it's more of one or the other, but cool. Let's see. Could you teach me how to write a text editor on the VC Package Manager live video? I don't know. That might be a cool project thing to do at some point. Text editor, maybe. So these are the general comments. Okay, we got a cool thanks. No problem. Awesome. Okay, and oh yeah, the comments on the land the job, the Joshua Fluke mindset flaw are great. Some of them are like people that are really, really bitter and mad. Some of them are cool. There's just such a giant variety of people just spilling their beans and guts in these comments. I love reading them. I usually don't respond to them anymore just because it's like such an old video. And usually it's just like, do I really have to address this again? Because I've sort of like in some way or another talked about most of these. But I'll talk about this one because it's on the video. Spent 45 years working at a variety of companies, large and small. Most either have employee. I'm going to make this bigger. Sorry, guys. Sorry if I'm making this complicated. Okay. So Marty 88-ish. 45 years working at big and small companies. Most have either employers or coworkers that bring their personal crap to work and use it as an excuse to bully other people. Whoa, let's just stop right there. Okay. Well, yes, every individual person, you, me, your neighbor, everyone you know has personal crap going on. And sure, you're not supposed to bring it to work, but it's with you all the time, whether you like it or not. It's just the human condition is we have to deal with our stuff. Okay, but here's where I see an issue. Use it as an excuse to bully other people. Most most people bring their personal crap to work and use it as an excuse to bully other people. Now, leave a comment on this if you want, but here's my take on that. It's not true. Well, I guess it depends on the environment. If you're working at like really toxic environments, this might be a lot worse and most might fit here. But in my experience, and I've worked a fair share of crappy jobs and jobs I would consider pretty good. So I've been all the way in between like, crappy jobs to good jobs. And yes, people do bring their personal crap to work. If they're like bullying people with it though, you just don't stand for that stuff. You just call them out. That's all you got to do. It usually works. Maybe they'll get mad at you, but ooh, what? You get to go find a better job where there's not a bunch of nonsense drama. Great. It's a win-win situation. You got to call them out. And I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a little story about this that I have. You might enjoy it. Okay, so I was working before I went to college. I was working at a let me think how to kind of give you the context here without revealing too much of my personal life. Okay, there was a point in my life where I was playing a lot of guitar and bass and writing a lot of songs, and I was basically trying to make it as a musician. And I got, I was in a band, we were touring, everything was going decent, other than, it's a grind. Being in a band is a massive grind, and it was definitely going somewhere given enough time. But at some point, the band basically broke up. And at that point, I I don't know. I was kind of in a rut for a while, we'll say. So I was just like, all right, I'll just take whatever job for now, get back on my feet, and that was fine. So I had a job at a pizza place for a while, and it was a relatively short-lived job. It wasn't something I was planning on doing permanently. It was like I'm basically just going to do this till I get another IT job or something like that. I hadn't gone to college yet. I did not have a college degree. I wasn't being a computer scientist wasn't even on my radar at that point. So just to give you a little context for where I was in my life, I was not a programmer yet in this story. So I was working at this pizza place, and there was this girl there, and we kind of started dating a little bit. And her ex-boyfriend also worked there, and her ex-boyfriend was basically a complete jerk. Like I don't know. I didn't get his mindset. He was sort of he was a lifer like at that company. Like he wasn't aspiring to ever really go anywhere else or anything like that. Well, not that that's a bad thing, but just to give you context for kind of his mindset and the type of person he was, wasn't exactly someone that wasn't trying to improve their life. So I didn't see a lot in the guy. Like I wasn't gonna try to befriend him and be like, hey, let's work on stuff together or anything like that because it just wasn't that sort of person. He was like in his own world, drank a lot of beer, showed up at work, harassed people, generally just an obnoxious person. And I didn't particularly like the guy, but I just kind of ignored him and did my job because I didn't really care. I don't really like getting involved in drama in general. But one day he like walked into work and just started like slamming stuff, like throwing boxes, throwing stuff around, slamming things on tables, just like obviously like losing his mind. And I was just sitting there and like looking at him like, what are you doing? So it's really vague to me, actually, but I don't remember what I said, but I just said something to him, and I really don't. I wish someone else would know. Someone else that was working there would know because they all like were really surprised that I just kind of stood up to him. But I don't really. People don't really scare me. Like if someone came at me all crazy, I would just handle it and move on about my life. I try not to let people bother me. So I basically, I wish I remember what I said or I had it recorded or something, but no one was recording. But basically, I said something like, I just, I didn't do it in a rude way either. Or I tried not to. I was like, "You all right, man? It seemed like you're kind of losing it there," or something like that. I just kind of just called it out, and he stopped. He like settled down and took a breath and stopped doing his flip out thing. And there were a lot less problems with him after that. And I didn't do anything that drastic. I was just like the one person who would actually say something to him because everyone else was afraid of him. So the point is, you should just say something if someone's really bothering you. You shouldn't let this happen. If people are bullying at work, you got to do something about it. If you're not doing anything about it and you're just like, oh, that's just how it is. People just, are terrible to each other and we love it. Okay, and we make so oh, this can't. So that's why I have a problem relating to this comment because I don't put up with this kind of stuff. Like if someone is like this way around me, that's like a red flag that management or something that is not necessarily the greatest company to work for, or you at least need to do your part and try to change it. If you're not doing that, then I don't know. That's a rough world. I have a hard time relating with those kind of people who aren't progressive. All right. So using an excuse to bully other people and make their work environment miserable. It doesn't really matter how nice or affable you are. Trust me. I don't trust you, Marty. I think you're probably one of these guys doing it. So I'm going to go with no. All right. How is he so good? Oh, this is on the Blender tutorial. Okay, well, I'll give you a little tip. I spent 3 years editing videos for a failed gaming channel, and that's where I got all my practice. Nothing to show for it other than I'm now good at editing Blender with video. But that channel that I'm talking about that I edited for went nowhere. So, years and years of practice. That's how I got good. All right. OpenGL Part 1. I love this tutorial. New to C++. And you learned your CMake series and subscribed. Cool. Thank you. This is the first time I was writing an OpenGL program. Can I use OpenGL to write cross-platform programs like Sublime Text? I guess you could. Yeah, I don't know. I might just have to do some video on that later, but I got to do some research before I just start saying stuff. I'm sure you can, but to have like a graphics accelerated text editor seems weird to me. I don't know if that's, I don't know if OpenGL is necessarily the best technology to use to make a text editor, but then again, I would have to do some research. All right. This guy looks like Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley. Jokes apart. He explained great. Ah, cool. Thanks. I get that a lot. People seem to think I look like Guilfoyle. I also get Jesus a lot, which is fine. I don't mind if I look like people. Like I don't get offended by that or anything. In fact, the last job, one of the last jobs I worked at, that's how everyone recognized me. They literally, there were like, there's a sub, the people that were like not in my department just they were like, "Oh, the new programmer that got hired that looks like Jesus. The guy that looks like I was the guy that looks like Jesus." And the first time I like went and played D&D with them one night, and it was a great time, and they're a great group of people. But one of them was like, I hope this doesn't offend you, but we literally knew you as the guy that looked like the new guy that looks like Jesus, because there were new guys every once in a while, but I guess." And I was like, "No, not at all, Chris." So I just think it's funny. I guess I don't know. It doesn't particularly do me any good to look like Guilfoyle or Jesus, other than, it's not something I do on purpose or think about. It's just, I guess, a coincidence. I don't know if I really look like him that much. Do I? No. The side? The side? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. What do I get for my 2 bonus points? You, sir, get a heart. There you go. That's what you got for your 2 bonus points. Congratulations. All right. Part 2, huge. Oh, this is, and there's also just a giant slew of weird comments that don't make any sense at all. Like this one from Huge Odin 1. Congrats, you have been drafted into my 5th YouTuber tournament. Well, 50 players will compete to be number 1 each round. A 5 players will be eliminated, but the final round, one of the finalists will become the tournament 5 champion. What? What is this even about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Um, but he has some subs. Maybe he gets subs by leaving this comment and people wondering. I don't know. I have no idea what that's talking about. You need more context. And why is everything in caps? Is this like a AI generated comment? I don't know. All right, here's a new one. How to set up to code anything with Visual Studio. The VC package manager is a little bit better than this, in my opinion, but you can still do this. So he's got some technical problems. I read this and I didn't really understand how to answer him. So a lot of these technical questions, I would like to dig in and research and answer them. But if I did it for every single one, I would have no time because I don't know. The problem with a lot of these, and the reason I don't answer is, yes, just because I don't know. And to figure it out, I would have to ask you a bunch of questions about what your environment is, and then I would have to replicate your environment. Then I would have to try to reproduce your bug. And it would basically take like half a day to answer any of these. And who knows if I'd even be helpful? I might just make it more confusing. So I generally don't answer these unless I directly know the answer. So hopefully someone else in the comments is able to help out Ancient Phoenix in that video because I'm not sure, and unfortunately I I'm just at a loss there. I hope you're able to figure it out. That's just the way coding is sometimes. You just like get stuck on something and you got to take some time and figure it out, and you can't find the answer online. That's actually very common. You can rarely find the answer online unless it's like a common problem. All right, transformations, great, cool. So that's a pretty good like idea of the kind of comments I get on a regular is just this type of stuff. And as you can see, that's kind of why I don't respond to all of it because a lot of it's just like I don't even know what to say. I really don't. But I do really appreciate the comments. They're cool to read. It's neat to see other personalities getting involved and stuff like that. Are we going off the rails on this year in review? I feel like we are, but that's okay. Let's get back on the rails. Let's talk about a few more things and then we'll close it out. Okay, so we are now back on Social Blade, just taking a quick look at things. Hey, looks like we're nearing the top 100,000 in the how-to video rank, so that's good as channel-wise. Grade is C+. I don't really know that. It should be C++. Am I right? All right. Well, yeah, I don't know exactly what to make of these numbers, but this one seems pretty good, I guess. Is it good? There's a lot of YouTubers. I don't know. It's hard to really assess. These estimated earnings are semi-close, I guess. Not really. I don't know. I guess I did say it earlier. It's around 100 a month right now, usually. Yearly earnings, yeah, I'd expect it, if it stays 100, it's going to be about uh, 1,200 a year, which is not close enough to survive on, but it does help and it is cool to have a little side hustle going on. Um, Yeah, I know I have ad block on. You can see it down here. I don't always have it on. Usually when I watch YouTube, I try to keep it off. But some ads are just so invasive and pop up in your face and yell at you and turn your audio on. It's so frustrating dealing with ads. So I get it if people use ad block. Please whitelist my channel though. That would mean a lot. Um, so subscribers weekly. Let's look at this. This is cool. This is really cool to see. Now this does correlate pretty directly with views. But as you can see, like beginning of last year, I was getting like, I don't know, about 10 subs a week. And then, like, after a while, once some of the videos started taking off a little bit more, I started getting like about 10 a day, which is crazy to me. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but I love y'all. All right. And yeah, this graph correlates almost directly with the number of views. So the more views you can manage to pull in, the more subs you're going to get in general. I guess that's like the takeaway from these graphs, and that I've heard that from other people too. That seems to be true. So if you're trying to grow a channel, I guess you just got to try to get views. I don't know. I don't really think about that too much. I just kind of make videos and try to make them as good as I can for the moment. So I don't really think too much about the views, to be honest. I have 204 uploads. So hopefully by this time next year, this will say like 307 or something. So hopefully we can keep on track. And here we go. Here's like the daily stuff. I don't know if that's relevant for the end of the year, but yeah, I just want to say thanks, guys. Let me get to the other screen. It's really been quite a ride. I got a lot of coding videos coming up. I got some new tutorials coming up about video editing too. I think I'm going to start diving into DaVinci a little bit. I've been using DaVinci to edit my videos recently, and I've kind of gone back and forth between DaVinci and Blender. I still really like Blender. I can't deny that sometimes Blender is just really easy for me because I'm so used to it to just load things up, do a few things, and call it a day. DaVinci, I got to do a lot more figuring out stuff. But DaVinci is really nice, and I think it's more popular, and it's also just made for video editing where Blender is not. So I think it makes sense to actually talk about a real video editor and dig into that some this year. So I plan on doing a bit of a series on that. I still have a lot to learn. I don't want to dive in too soon before I'm too much of a noob, like I did with my Vim tutorial that no one seemed to like because you're like, you're not even saying the terms right, uh, and stuff like that. Yeah, Vim, it's still up there. I don't know. I just wung it. It's but so I'm trying to avoid making tutorials and stuff that I don't necessarily understand well enough. But there were definitely a lot of times where I was just like, I just need to get some kind of video out. I'm kind of don't have a whole lot of ideas. I know how to do this. Let's just do this real quick. So let me know what you guys think down below. Sure do appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great new year. Let me know what your resolutions are. Hopefully it's coding lots. Let's do a lot of coding this year. I want to do some more live streams too. I guess I haven't talked about that, but I kind of cut off the live streams because they were basically just too stressful. Um, that's the only way I can really think of it is they were just too stressful. I don't know. Something about streaming code kind of triggers me, and I don't really know what to do about that. I can't help that it like triggers me, really. I mean, I can like suppress it for a while, but eventually it's gonna come out, you know? And I think it's just that like I just feel like every bit of thing I type, everybody's analyzing and being like, "Oh, no, 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 do it this way." And I don't know. I guess I just don't like backseat drivers is what it comes down to. But I'm trying to get over that and be a better person about that, and so that's something I got to work on. We all have things to work on. All right. Peace out, guys. Happy New Year. Let's have a great year.